Eladio Rosabal Cordero in Heredia. As you see Jaime de la Pava walking to his bench, the coach of Club Sport Herediano. As they're getting ready for a kickoff here in Heredia. As both teams, as the rain started coming in just moments before kickoff, and it's slowly coming. The chances of rain, and of course this time of year, extremely rainy in beautiful Costa Rica. These two teams poised to really assert themselves, make a statement in this tournament, possibly join Motagua and some others as candidates to win the 2018 Scotiabank Concacaf League. Of course, the winner of this tournament ends up advancing, as you see right here. Things are breaking up in the brackets. The winner of this plays FAS and Árabe Unido. Right now, 3 teams from Panama still alive. Panamanians looking to make a return trip, or at least 2 of them trying to make a return trip to the semifinals like they did last year. Hopefully all 3 of them, if you're a Panamanian fan, would be a good indication of how that league is growing within the region at this level here in the CONCACAF League. Herediano looking to continue a tremendous streak as far as competition against Central American sides. Haven't lost in 14 years here at the Eladio Rosabal Cordero. Announcers jinx alert there, as that could possibly come into fruition. That could come to an end today against a very tough Universitario side, currently in 3rd place and looking to climb places in the domestic league. So that's something very important to be looking at with a team that has undergone a rebrand, of course merging former FC Chorrillo and 2 other clubs within the Chorrillo region, and really becoming one large force as far as development, as far as branding, and also as far as what the club is looking to do to start to look outside of Panama to bring in some of the top talent and make them competitive, not just domestically, but also regionally and maybe internationally. That's one of the aspirations that this team does have going towards the future. And of course, the rebrand going to Deportivo Universitario ends up being that first vital step. When you start looking at Herediano, right now, you could look at that team as the best team in Costa Rican football. Of course, Deportivo Saprissa will be looking to say something like that, something else, because they currently find themselves as the defending champs in Costa Rica. But right now, as far as performance and performance at home, you have to start looking at Herediano as the team to beat in the Costa Rican Domestic League, but also a team that really has been formidable throughout this entire tournament, throughout their history at the international level, although they're looking to really assert that impressive form or impressive results with something that's even more important, that's an international trophy, something that Alajuelense and Saprissa also have in their respective accounts. Of course, the rain started to come down a little bit harder. That will be a factor. It's going to be cool, and it's going to be rainy here in Heredia. Of course, it's about a 20-25 minute ride from the Juan Santamaria Airport in San Jose. Actually, the airport border right there between San Jose going into Heredia. So that'll be something important to look at as far as the fans that are coming in. There's lots of fans that are still coming in. As far as this match, it has been promoted locally a great deal. Something that you have to give a lot of credit to David Patey and many of the others that run Herediano are looking to do as far as really help this team continue to come back and assert themselves like they have the past few years domestically, but now take the big leap like they did back in 2015 when they got to the semifinals of the CONCACAF Champions League. So both teams ready to go here at the Eladio Rosabal Cordero. Jaime de la Pava looking to continue his good form at home against this Unión Deportivo Universitario side. Really no changes compared to this past weekend when they beat Grecia 4-2. And something that you will see with Jaime de la Pava, of course, the Colombian coach that came over and really looking to change things here at Herediano. Of course, they had some struggles. Eric Jair Miranda will be the referee. Pablo Hernandez and Alejandro Ayala will be the two assistants. And of course, Oscar Macias will anchor over on the sidelines as the fourth referee. This all-Mexican crew that will be imparting justice on the pitch. See right there, only one significant change for this Universitario side is Oscar Upegui, of course, looking to continue, as you see, pretty much a 3-4-3 that they played this past weekend, and they were able to make switches tactically, able to get the victory. And you see right there, the strength, if you want to start looking at it from the perspective of Herediano, will be on the bench. As you see, Yendrik Ruiz, he's coming back slowly in the form. You see Gerardo Lugo. Omar Arellano will also be on the bench as well. Former Chivas man, Pinita Arellano. And that really many were looking at as one of the promises of Mexican football. Of course, his career with injuries, now he finds himself playing in the Costa Rican League as we're underway. Herediano, they're dressed in their traditional kit. Meanwhile, Club Deportivo Universitario in their alternate whites going left to right. Here's a good chance coming through, but sliding across is going to be none other than the goalkeeper, Vargas. Of course, he'll have a couple of important responsibilities on his end, as he will look to start some type of momentum that will be very important defensively. He'll get some opportunities and he'll have to challenge himself to be at the very top as Vladimir Vargas anchoring that defense, and many are looking at him as a potential call-up in the next couple of years. Many were talking about the factor that the rain will be. Herediano again. But if you want to look at it from another perspective too, this Universitario side has already played at this venue. It's Kainer Brown trailing back, and you see right there Oscar Upegui. It's Brain Trust. Universitario has already played at this venue, where they played the first leg against Dirian Hen. Jimmy Marin, former Costa Rican Youth International, was part of that under-20 side that played in the World Cup just last year. Velarde trying to karate kick his way out of there. Of course, this side, a rather formidable one. It will not be easy for Herediano. This is a very well-organized defensive unit. We'll have players like Josian Nunez, who's part of that Panamanian World Cup side. There's a lot of momentum because of that. Granados looking to serve that ball into the middle. And we'll see a lot of different styles, two really contrasting styles. If you have not seen Herediano as well as Universitario face off or even play in their respective leagues, as well as in this competition, you'll see a very defensive, well-stacked, well-structured defensive side. Meanwhile, Herediano is going to try and look for their target men up top as quickly as possible. It goes to Jimmy Marin. Not being able to win that ball, and it goes to Velarde. Looking to go up top for Moreno, and that's one of the players to watch. He's one of the leading goal scorers in the Panamanian League. Has been absolutely lethal throughout this early stage of that league and recovered rather quickly there by Alan Cruz. You see the immediacy with which they want to transition, which is something that you start to see a tendency of a lot in the Costa Rican League, and you start to see the effects of the rain on the slippery turf, which was something that was being talked about. Nice move there in the middle by Moreno. Pass targeted nowhere, really. Granados, the ever-present midfielder in that Herediano side that has really been successful for the past few years. Nice through ball. And the anticipation very good there by Pablo Salazar, the captain today. Geisha Fuller. Arrieta. As Granados goes to the ground. Zairo Arrieta, former Saprissa man. Spent a few years in Major League Soccer with DC United. Going to another former DC, at least this one, he spent at least had a cup of coffee over at DC United. That was Juan Guillermo Ortiz, former Alajuelense man. Wide in the middle in the pass. Wide open, as it was, again, the chance going through and Moreno not being able to connect on that one. Nunez as well as Inestrosa playing up top. You see right there how Universitario want to reduce spaces and understanding that they don't have that player in the middle to really start to create. Maybe Jimmy Marin will be looked at a lot out wide. Same thing with Diego Estrada, but we haven't seen much of the number 10. Again, another player down, and Esteban Granados making sure that all the parts are in all the right places. Lost his breath there a little bit and making sure that he's all still together in one piece after that body check. Jaime de la Pava talked about how instrumental this midfielder is, and he talks about how he's become, and he's always been that leader that he has to turn to, and how Granados has been so instrumental in De La Pava getting to know his team so much better. At the same time, for Herediano to slowly understand the style of play that De La Pava is trying to implement. At times, as right there you see Kenneth Brown missing his target, looking to play it out of the back, and again, quick transition down the left-hand side. And the ball has to be cleared out. Not much of an option, as the pace from Universitario is going to be another factor when it comes to really creating in the middle. First corner kick of the match, and this will be important because Josiel Nunez is going to try and send that in-swinger into the area, have some good players, as Omar Inestrosa will be one of those target men that'll be looked at. Instead it goes back for Velarde, the header in the middle, no, nothing for Universitario. Ortiz looking to come back, and how the counterattack beginning on the other end. Important here is it's Gaynor Brown leading the charge. Granados was not sure whether to go or to stay, and all of a sudden, you have a good opportunity brewing. Marin waiting for the ball. He's in the middle of that triangle. Granados trying to step through, but the ball gets away from him. Not much going on this side either, as Keisher Fuller now losing the ball, but it ends up drifting away from him, and Gaynor Brown. Persistent rain in Costa Rica. This rainy season begins, or has begun already. Montenegro. Trying to switch that ball back into the middle. Good job as Josiel Nunez wide open. Give, and Nunez saying, I was right here. You didn't need to send it into space. Because what the plan, at least what he had in mind, was to get the ball and wait to see how the run was going to be made outside. But of course that ends up being all for naught. You see the rain just coming down so hard now at the Eladio Rosabal Cordero. One of 8 pitches in the Costa Rican domestic league that's made out of artificial turf, and now trying to keep it in bounds. Yes, here's a good chance for Herediano, as El Team, as they're called in Costa Rica, being able to manufacture that first corner kick of the match at the 10th minute of play. Slide through, and again you start to see how the Panamanian side being able to recover and track back. You start to see again the ball coming through. Missing on that target was Jairo Arrieta. Universitario get the ball back. Herediano, one of 8 pitches in the Costa Rican First Division that consists of artificial turf. Only one, that's Alajuelense. That's a hybrid. Their artificial pitch was removed just last year. It's coming out a little bit slow, but still getting there nonetheless, was Vladimir Vargas. And this is Moreno. Is that touch a little bit too far? Gaynor Brown at the right place at the right time, opening things up. Marin. For Brown, a bit more mobile in the middle. That's one thing that Herediano has been able to acquire in the past year. More mobile central defenders, as a lot of their play had to be filtered out by the wing backs. Switch over from a back line of 5 to now a back line of 4 as they cross into the middle. Cleared away there by the captain, Pablo Salazar. Still a team with the wing backs very dangerous coming out of the attack. And here comes Ortiz down the right side. Stifled there at the end. Looking for the foul out wide, but not going to get it. It was Inestrosa, excuse me, check that, that was Ramirez. Samir Ramirez getting that ball, but not being able to handle it properly, and it'll be a corner kick yet again for Club Sport Herediano. 13th minute of play, no score, and one of the keys in this match, especially if you're talking about Herediano, is to get the lead early and to try and vanquish this match in this leg. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second after this corner kick is served in. Looking in the middle as Brown was coming right through that first post. Your throw-in coming in from a less favorable position, at least if you're Herediano and a man down already. sit down if you're a Deportivo Universitario man. Is Guillermo Sierra, the central defender. Montenegro. These fans still coming in. This match, the second leg, will be played next week in Panama. Signs pointing that it will be over at the Rommel Fernandez, so that will be a pretty decent trek for fans of Deportivo Universitario. Coming through, punched away. It's a bit slippery, obviously. You'll understand that part. Vargas didn't want any problems. Fuller. Estrada, who's slowly become one of the mainstays in that Herediano midfield. So much so that Randall Asofeifa not getting as many minutes as he's mostly accustomed to, the Costa Rican international. Of course, Asofeifa still getting at least back into the swing of things after he was looked at during the summer. Shot that just moves wide. Brown coming out of the back and having some problems as you start to see not just where the ball's positioned, but seeing how the defense is played, and lightning striking. The play will continue. Brown. Jimmy Marin now trying to get past the defender, gets past the second one as it goes to Keisher right there to Keisher Fuller. The cross in the middle. Here's another ball that's just bouncing around. Jairo Arrieta not able to get there on time as Vladimir Vargas pouncing on it rather quickly. Moreno, good job by him to shield the ball from one defender, but Esteban Granados coming from the opposite end. He can't do too much, but still, Deportivo Universitario still coming down the right-hand side. Here's a cross that ends up being way too straight, way too square, but square only for Leonel Moreira. And of course, part of the Costa Rican national team side that was part of the World Cup. He was the third goalkeeper. Them, as you saw, very disappointing World Cup. Losing to Serbia, then losing to Brazil. Of course, drew with Switzerland there towards the end. A little consolation for them as they could not replicate what occurred back in 2014. Of course, after that, Oscar Ramirez stepped down, and they're still looking for a national team coach. Apparently, according to reports, as of today, there's still 8 coaches in the running. 2 of them still from the domestic end is Brown, René Miranda. Of course, there's other drama going on within the Costa Rican FA right now. The first yellow card being brandished That's on the 18th minute of play, and it goes to Guillermo Sierra. Sierra goes into the referee's book after that challenge. There will be a lot of slipping and sliding for sure, based on how things are going in this match. And it will be one of those encounters that when you start to look at how things play out because of the conditions, obviously those being completely out of the control of everyone, that will be one of the factors to start looking into when a bounce or something that could be looked at as potentially fluky could occur. This pitch tends to, at times, have those tricky bounces because of the type of artificial turf that you have here at Herediano. There tends to be a bit more of an unnatural bounce, as this is more from people that have played on this surface have talked about. But at the same time, it's a pitch where you can control the ball maybe a little bit better than other pitches that you can find throughout Costa Rica as well. Moreno, as he's surrounded by red and yellow jerseys. And Jade Miranda saying, no, drop it back a little bit more. This is where we need to be. Ortiz, here's a good chance. Into the middle, goes right to the back, and a good opportunity to score for Jimmy Marin. 1-0 for Club Sportivo Herediano. Football is just such a game of bounces back and forth that the one that takes advantage of it is able to come away on top. And it's just the bounces. We can see the entire play. You'll see how it progresses. But again, good vision, switching, of course, in the middle. Not the most favorable of situations, but Arrieta with enough presence to see that the defense is moving more towards his side to cover all the areas. Sees a wide open Jimmy Marin down the left-hand side, and that really eases things. But also give a lot of credit as Alan Cruz really takes up a lot of defenders in the process. So Marin again, looking to add on to his totals. Nice pass into the middle. Now Herediano looking for some spaces and finding them. But again, cleared away nicely, as it was Omar Inestrosa that was looking for the ball that was in control of Samir Ramirez. So it was at 21. The first goal courtesy of Jimmy Marin. And Marin looking so confident. That's one of the objectives that Jaime de la Pava had, to try and get players like Marin more involved. Marin has been questioned a great deal, dating back to the Under-20 World Cup. Despite that, Costa Rica ended up going to the quarterfinals. Granados. As Miranda trying to work a little bit more as Alan Cruz. Well, he played at one point at right back. Fuller, now it's Gaynor Brown. Back to Granados, into the middle it goes. Alan Cruz now, more towards the middle. He loses possession now. Looking for the foul, as there was a bit of obstruction there. They're trying to look for that, but not going to happen in this case. It's Granados. He cleans things up, and again, you have a very deep side. Is Cruz looking for Arrieta, but anticipated nicely there. This is Velarde. So 1-0 for El Team Florense. Trying to get that touch. Marin now on the far side, but again, Universitario finding a way to get that ball. Moreno offside. Good anticipation by Keisha Brown. Fuller chasing back, but of course Velarde was offside. That's the first of the night. He was already taking off, and he was already in an offside position. The wonderful thing about that goal, it wasn't those last two passes, it was everything else that occurred. The recovery and then being able to connect amongst one another was the big key in order for Arrieta to even get the ball, for us to get to that stage. It's how high at times this Herediano side can play, but also how they end up rotating amongst one another. As the collision there, Velarde getting called for the foul. You don't see a static Herediano. You see players switching around. You haven't seen Alan Cruz stay in one position or remain stationary. As you see right there, as he gets the shot to the thigh. You've seen a lot of movement. Jimmy Marin also another example, as he goes out wide to the right, out wide to the left. Ortiz also going out to the wings. Arrieta going into the middle and dropping back behind. So that really shows you a great deal of mobility and also rotation amongst one another to be able to find those spaces, or at least be able to exploit some matchups a little bit better. Now let's see what Universitario are able to do. Here's the chance. Should have taken the shot right there. Loses the angle, left-footed chance. Still looking for another opportunity, and of course that ball just skips out of bounds. The effort that was made there by Omari Nestroza, a little too much. There's Oscar Upegui looking around. Of course, want to send a shout out to a great coach in Panama, Javier Einstein. He's watching as Arrieta getting the ball from Ortiz. Ortiz serving as at number 9. And Jay and Miranda saying, no, get up. There's bodies bumping and clashing and a lot of physicality in this encounter. Of course, that's something very typical with Panamanian teams. You have players that have good technique, but also they have the physical capabilities of being able to play in a physical manner. Granados, back to Salazar. Salazar's the one that stays back, allowing Kaner Brown to go on the attack a little bit more. There's been a lot of criticism on Kaner Brown's part as far as how he's been playing. That back line, of course, gelling very well, but at times, especially this past weekend against Grecia, he was looked at as one of the reasons why the goals were conceded in the first place. That's where you start to see some of those big problems occurring in the back line for Herediano, and they can be exploited, as you see right there. Ball being sent through and not much going on. Núñez. Josiel Núñez looking to send that ball into the area. 4 players. Very imprecise right now for the Panamanians. Marin. That ball comes through and it'll be a foul going in the opposite direction. This Herediano side pretty much comfortable right now. We head into the 28th, now 29th minute of play. Brown winning the ball in the area. Miranda. Now it's Inestrosa. Nunez asking for it, but not getting it as he was alone there for a split second. That window closed very quickly. Pedro Giannini, uncomfortable there for Moreira, but he's able to parry it away. Didn't want any doubts on that one. And now Herediano looking to break out, but Universitario covering their tracks very well, but not being able to clean that ball in the middle. Now being able to recover it again. Meneses. Serving it into the middle, but again, that ball weighted appropriately, but again, when you start considering the pitch and how slick it is right now, it's just gonna skip right across and continue going forward. Have to start weighting it differently. Arrieta, as he goes down, says, get back up. Eric J. and Miranda say, no, come on, continue play. Inestrosa. Fuller, excuse me. Kaner Brown was backtracking, and now Fuller, full speed ahead, just putting that ball forward. Reminds you a bit of Roy Miller. Granados winning that ball in the middle of the pitch. Now it goes to Jimmy Marin, the man that scored the only goal up to now. Estrada. Swinging and missing again, Marin looking for the call and not going to get it. You're literally going to have to suffer an amputation in order for you to get a call from Eric J. Miranda right now. Good switch. Pressing forward. It's Inestrosa with Ramirez out wide. Nunez. Giannini. The cross into the middle and knocked away there, and it'll be a foul being called on the other end as slowly the rains dissipating as the offside was called earlier. Of course, that's why you saw first assistant Pablo Hernandez being called. Marin chasing and now surrounded by 3 players, but still able to win that ball. Fuller back to Marin with lots of room to roam. Loves those one-on-ones, but that ball not going very precise and not weighted properly for Arrieta. As Herediano already in the final 15 minutes, now 14 minutes of play. Really haven't had any problems with Universitario in front of goal. Just one intervention by Moreira. That's been pretty much it. Giannini. Fuller. Cruz now in the middle and trying to move it around with Granados, who's played a little bit further back. Granados recovering the ball, playing pretty much in the Asofeifa role. Again, Granados playing out wide. Again, that ball into the air, but the foul being called. Works every time, but every time you will pretty much get caught when it comes to that type of infraction. And you see Jaime de la Pava, who had to dispel rumors just a couple of days ago that he was leaving Herediano. As in Colombia, back in Colombia, he was being mentioned as the possible new coach of América de Cali. América really having a tough time of it in the Colombian league, having lost this past weekend to Atlético Nacional, and one of the poorest performances that they've had so far this season, a season that's seen them mired in relegation talk yet again. So talking about possibly De La Pava taking over for a third time. He had to dispel those rumors rather quickly, saying how happy he was. It's Herediano is the shot that's taken by Diego Estrada, way off target. He talked about how happy he was at this project. And again, you see how those spaces are being created down the wings and how the wing play for Herediano really, both Estrada and even Jimmy Marin, and how those two players, with those opportunities on one-on-one situations, they're able to create spaces for themselves and really look to extend opportunities. That one might have been able to be extended for one more pass into the middle. There were some targets available to at least send it and see what they could do with it. Estrada. There's a foul being called there. He said, look, I'm talking about De La Pava. Talked about, look, I just want to let you know that I'm flattered that a team like America, and of course he won a league title with them, how flattered he was over being considered, but he talked about, I'm very happy here at Herediano. I'm looking forward to seeing how this project evolves, but maybe in the future, and that's where you start to see the speculation emerge as the ball being deflected deep. Gainer Brown to Moreira. Showing his skill. And how poised and how controlled you see Herediano coming out of the back. Fuller. Arrieta dropping back, and it goes over to Cruz. The run was being made out wide, but immediately going wider over to Miranda, who sends a cross in to the hands of Vladimir Vargas. Herediano have not lost to a Central American team in international play here at the Eladio Rosabal Cordero since 2004. Of course, that statistic a little bit skewed, if you will. Because from that time to their return to international play, or regional play, or continental play, if you want to look at it from that perspective, they have to wait 7 years. Looking to put it through. Here's a good chance for Cruz. He couldn't get a foot on it. It slipped away. And now's the counter developing on this side, on the near side, looking for Velarde, and he couldn't control it. Herediano had quite a few years where they did not play an international cup. The last time they, or actually the last time after that loss in 2004, was back in 2011. Which by that time, you started looking at it in the latest format. Herediano have not lost here since then. Since the rebrand of the Champions League. Now you can start adding the Concacaf League to that list. There's a free kick opportunity coming away in the 37th minute of play as they look to establish this fortress here. As it's Ortiz, back in 2015, was playing with Liga Deportiva Alajuelense. It was a major key for Alajuelense to advance to at least the quarterfinals of that tournament that year, beating DC United. Of course, he ends up going to DC United later that year and spent a brief amount of time there. Eventually came back to Costa Rica, now with Club Sport Herediano. Would you want to make that ball skip in front of Vargas, it'll be very tricky for him because he's going to have to give a rebound with that slick ball. Trying to slip it through, and you see the rebound right there. But again, covered very nicely, preventing that second ball from being struck or actually continuing play there for Herediano. The pressure, giving it right back to the Florenses. Fuller, final 7 minutes, looking to put it back into the area. Brown, striking it was Arrieta. It's funny that same match I was talking about in 2015, Arrieta was playing for DC United. Of course, when he played over in Alajuela, the jeers that he received are still quite memorable. Marin, the wall was set up perfectly for Marin, but again, that curler to the far post. Here's again another ball, and very dangerous as it skirts right through, and it is not able to really get that ball on target. Meneses is doing a good job so far, but again, Universitario not being able to really find their offensive play, and again, now you start to see Granado start the break on the other end. Estrada stumbling and bumbling his way through. Marin. Ortiz, as Arrieta waiting just outside the box. He gets the ball, gives it right back to Ortiz, and got a little too anxious, and when he unloaded, missed in significant manner. They just got on top of it ever so slightly, and instead of really adding pace to it, it ends up going straight to the ground and just dribbling out of bounds. Meneses looking to associate a bit more. Let's just send the ball over to Velarde, see what he can do down the right side, and that's been the most dangerous option for this Deportivo Universitario side. And that's the biggest problem right now. There's not a lot of development down the middle, as Meneses with a quick throw in. Not sure what Moreno was looking to do. As we head to the final 5 minutes of this first half. Goal by Jimmy Marin in the 20th. Now, they're saying is Ortiz not able to control that ball. That's one of the things to start looking at. Universitario with a good chance. 2-on-1, good chance, and still coming through, but a great recovery by Gaynor Brown. As he'll be one of those names that's going to be mentioned in the future as soon as Costa Rica find a new coach. Of course, you have a back line for the Costa Rican national team that's a bit long in the tooth. Brown showing his power, of course being fouled there, and the second yellow card being shown. This time it's to John Montenegro. Bit of a wise choice there. Looks like it's going to be at 42. What this central defender for Herediano can offer. Interesting to look at. Fuller. You have players such as Giancarlo Gonzalez. You start looking at Johnny Acosta. Acosta was already 34-35 going into the World Cup. So do you still look at a player like that? Of course, in goal, you most likely will have another 4 years of Keylor Navas. Now, the big issue with Keylor is how much playing time will he get at Real Madrid. Pipo Gonzalez, of course, continuing to play in Italy, and he'll get some playing time as well. Christian Gamboa as well. You start looking at Kane Brown, you start looking at those types of players and how they'll be able to come through. And he comes up with a big mistake, coming into the area, that cross and just gobbling it up is Leonel Moreira, speaking of which will be looked at quite a lot in his constant battle with Patrick Pemberton for that second goalkeeper spot for Costa Rica. Costa Rica have to really get things going quickly as they have to prepare for the Gold Cup next year. That's another factor to start looking at the pitch. Deep ball, oh, that first touch. Marin not able to handle it properly. A little bit behind him, but give him a lot of credit. Ball comes through, and that's actually the view he has of the ball, so it'll be a very interesting second half, to say the least. Especially if this rain, because it has not stopped since, I'd like to say since about the 3rd minute of play. Actually, you saw a little bit of a drizzle throughout the beginning of the first half. Looking for that ball. Will it be a free kick outside? Yes, it will be just on the edge. Eddie J. Miranda say no. See right there, the contact was made. Significant distance from outside, and again, when people criticize Kane Brown, it's for things like that. When he's trying to play out of the back, sometimes he plays out of the back too much instead of trying to simplify it and just booting the ball out deep. You give him credit for wanting to play the ball and being safe and secure and confident with it. But in those types of situations, coaches don't want that type of confidence. They want you to be practical, pragmatic, and just send the ball as deep as you possibly can. Right at the death, let's see if Deportivo Universitario can equalize, and they almost were able to get that as the ball nodded to the far post, but Moreira securing it, and that will be the end. No stoppage time, or at least that's the indication. It's a good heads-up move there by Josiel Nunez. Right at the end of the first half, almost getting close. 2 chances for Deportivo Universitario, that's pretty much it. But Herediano have been able to control the tempo of the match. They've been able to cause some problems defensively. And that goal by Jimmy Marin in the 20th minute of play has been a big difference, a bigger difference you might want to admit to, but it's still a significant difference for El Team from Floresta. So we'll be back with more after halftime. It's Club Sport Herediano 1, Deportivo Universitario 0.
Para obtener más información sobre el compromiso de Scotiabank con el fútbol juvenil, síguenos en Facebook y Twitter en Scotiabank Fútbol Club. Apoyar tu equipo votando por el mejor jugador del partido, vota en Twitter, liga @Champions.
It's a case of controlling, and that's one of the strengths of Club Sport Herediano throughout the Jaime de la Pava era. And today it was going to be a statement as to what they can do to control the situation. But of course, with control, you have to have certain moments where you make statements. Statements both defensively, where really no player from Deportivo Universitario can really create situations, but then also controlling and showing your authority when you have the ball at your feet. Again, trying to threaten, and it wasn't the most effective, it wasn't the prettiest, it wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing type of performance, but when they had to do it, they had to put on the style, they had to put on the flair, they did it. Jimmy Marin being able to slot that ball far post, and again, it was the construction of this play. How they were able to recover the ball, how they were able to transition, how they were able to find the right man in Arrieta, and how that right man is able to find the target man, that final touch, as wisely as possible, the best choice available, but also a combination of the runs that were really clearing the way for Jimmy Marin to score the goal that really was the difference so far. Leonel Moreira showing a lot of confidence, showing a lot of poise, and also showing a lot of alertness in a shot like this that's sometimes tricky as it knuckles down. He didn't want any complications, and he didn't really have many. And again, you start to see where Herediano maybe didn't have the most possession, but when they had the ball, they really discomforted that Universitario defense. And on a lot of occasions, sometimes that security leads to complacency. But again, when you have players behind you that are able to really step up and clog those openings that you create, Leonel Moreira right there showing his assertiveness. And sometimes, of course, you have to have a little bit of luck, as that ball almost comes through to be the equalizer at the death. But overall, it's been Herediano really holding their own in a match that they've been able to control very well. And when you look at the context of controlling, you have to look at the statistics, and that tells you the story in combination of the opportunities and combination of the results of how this match is played out. Deportivo Universitario have had more chances on goal, but it's been Herediano that's known what to do with it better. They've only had one shot total on goal, but that shot went in, and that really goes to the effectiveness of Herediano when they have the ball at their feet. They're not known to really dominate in possession, but when they do have possession, they go vertical, they transition very well, and they do look for goal. Deportivo Universitario looking for their point man in Moreno. He's been stifled quite a bit, and the other options really haven't been able to really step up. So both teams ready for the second half. As Club Sport Herediano getting a little bit of a lesson there towards the end. If you want to look at it from that perspective, that their lead might be under control, but it's not safe. That this Deportivo Universitario side can strike at any moment, especially from a set piece, and equalize things and get that very vital away goal. So what will be very crucial to be looking at is, number one, how this Deportivo Universitario side is going to come out. They did have some interesting movements, especially down the wings, especially down the right, because that side of the pitch really offered a bit more depth to their attack. They were able to get crosses in. It was just that final touch that was lacking there. When you start looking at the left side, Ramirez and Inestrosa at times were able to associate themselves well, but it was only in certain sectors, maybe in the middle third of the pitch, but when it came to the final third, really not a lot of connection there, and you didn't see a lot of opportunities. But for the home side, it's a chance to truly take a significant lead, maybe start thinking about locking this tie up a little bit more. They've had chances. They've been able to really control the situation. Again, a 1-0 lead is still tenuous at best. The same 22 that stepped off have stepped back on, so no changes. That ball skies right over there and into the stands. So that far side is the Palacio de Deportes, the sports complex here at Club Sport Herediano. Foul there on Alan Cruz. Moreira, Miranda, Brown, Salazar, Fuller, Cruz, Granados, Estrada, Marin in the middle, Arrieta and Ortiz, the 4-4-2. Even a 4-4-1-1 for Jaime de la Pava. Universitario looking to switch out wide is Samir Ramirez, another former Panamanian Youth International. Throw in here for boys from La Chorrera. Recap of that Universitario lineup in just a second as it's Ortiz. I'll drop back as Panamanians able to recover in the middle. Still trying to assert themselves in that sector, but as they swing it out wide, it goes over to Inestrosa as he gets past Miranda. Moreno. Herediano playing with fire as Moreira waits for that ball to land, and he'll just, the ball was out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick coming up for Club Deportivo Universitario with Vargas in goal, Meneses, Sierra, Fula, and Ramirez in the back. Montenegro and Janine in the holding midfield, part of that 4-2-3-1. Velarde, Núñez, Inestrosa, and Sergio Moreno. Stars in the ball just off the deflection, comes through unbelievably, it goes over. And again, this is what we were talking about at halftime, the analysis that's discussing. You see right there, it looked like it was a header from, it looked like it was Sierra coming in, but it got deflected off a defender. Now the play over to Gaynor Brown. Jimmy Marin in a more central role. As it goes over to Estrada. The question is, with this turf, with the conditions and how heavy it can get on the legs, what do you start looking for as far as substitutions? As in Estrosza, not away. You see, of course, one player warming up for Herediano. So quick shout out to media coordinator Jocelyn Hernandez. She's a lot of information. Shout out to her. Miranda. Ball just dribbled out of bounds, and it'll be for Deportivo Universitario. I've never seen history win. History is in the past. That was a phrase of the week from Jaime de la Pava, talking about how we shouldn't be overlooking a team like Deportivo Universitario because of our history, because of our tradition. Our history has to be rewritten every day, and that was something that really caught the attention of the Panamanian press as well as the Costa Rican press, as far as the intentions of trying to win a title at the international level. Herediano with 26 league titles, just 3 away from Alajuelense. In turn, find themselves 5 behind Deportivo Saprissa. Marin switching it in, but right to the hands of Vladimir Vargas. Granados, for some looking since 2012, both Herediano as well as Saprissa, the 2 leaders, the 2 teams that have won the most amount of titles, both with 5 each. Alajuelense with 3. The foul on Miranda. Inestrosa has Moreno surrounded. Inestrosa missing. Closer to the poor security guard that's looking. That ball closer to Avenida Woodrow Wilson than it is to the goal that's being defended by Leonel Moreira. Another foul being looked at. Nope, no foul that's going to be given by Eric Jair Miranda. Ramirez battling through Sierra. Sierra again trying for a second time as it goes to Inestrosa, and offside being called. As it was Nunez coming back from an offside position, getting called for that infraction. Benitez, Isidoro Inestrosa, David Loaiza, Luis Jaramillo, Jesus Araya, and Jonathan Cesena, the options on the bench for Coach Upegui. Of course, add Gianfranco Cao, who played this past weekend against Daudo. He's on the bench, the Argentine. Cambronero. Right there, the infraction. Cambronero, the backup goalkeeper for Herediano. Ordain, Jendrik Ruiz, Pinita Arellano, Randall Sofeifa, Aldo Magaña, and Gerardo Lugo on the bench for Jaime de la Pava as a substitution coming in. And we'll get to see who the first player is. Get some more fresh legs in that pitch. Arrieta. Gerardo Lugo, the Mexican, coming on. 2 Mexicans on this Herediano side.
Damas y caballeros, su atención por favor. Sustitución para el equipo Club Sport Herediano en el minuto 53. Entrando al terreno de juego como el número 23,
the first substitution.
Saliendo del partido con el número 19, Cairo Arrieta.
That comes at the 53rd minute. to offside. Moreno, who after his performance, his brace, was the Panamanian League Player of the Week. Many starting to look at him as another option. There's Gerardo Lugo. Has not been able to really free himself up as much. See what Gerardo Lugo is able to do, because you have a player like Arrieta, who's more of a forward. You bring a midfielder into the mix, and then you put Ortiz up top, so that is a bit of a shift. So it becomes more of a 4-5-1, if you will, for Herediano, a 4-2-3-1 from that perspective, with two holding midfielders and then three attackers. Marin, and then you see the other one in Diego Estrada being the two that come through in the middle. Alan Cruz will probably come through, so you can see a couple of variations. He'll go on the attack. Lugo dropping back a bit more. We'll see what it ends up playing out as the minutes go by. As it's Inestrosa. Inestrosa stepping through, trying to get that ball, but that window of opportunity to get a chance on target really closed down, as you're going to see right here on the play. The run being made there, as soon as that ball is taken away, Moreno really doesn't have much of an angle. Even if you came in clean, you see Beggy saying, no, can't do that. As soon as he made that run towards Inestrosa, he loses the angle that he's able to really at least able to get a touch on it, and that's where it goes all for naught for him. It was a great development of play, but those final two touches end up really neutralizing the opportunity there for Deportivo Universitario. While coming into the middle, Lugo dropping back a little bit more and looking to join the attack, as Granados going to Lugo again, stepping in, but ball gets taken away quickly there by Pedro Janine. Lugo, as Granados giving chase, and Moreira easily getting involved, but offside again by Moreno, who's had some chances. Same thing for that man right there, Ian Velarde. Moreno. Miranda having a leap over as it goes to Inestrosa, the overlap being made. Moreno back, swinging it out wide to Meneses, but again, Fuller right on top of things. He's done a great job defensively and also has been able to do a pretty adequate job on the attack. Chance and shots saved easily there by Moreira. Herediano having problems out of the back. Getting Inestrosa. It goes to Cruz. Now goes to Estrada. Check that as Marin on the left-hand side. Marin trying to keep it in bounds, but the rings have dissipated significantly now. Pitch. And again, another substitution, and it will be Jendrik Ruiz coming on. He will replace Diego Estrada. So what we're talking about, we have Jendrik Ruiz coming on. He'll offer a bit more attacking punch from behind. Ortiz will be the player that's going to be retrieving those deep balls. They end up going in his direction, like they do now. Meneses, but recovered easily by Fuller. Marin. Ortiz. Ruiz, and now Ortiz again. He turns back, he'll square up to goal. Oh, and the ball set right back. And here's another counterattack in the opposite direction. Moreno still offside, so that's why Meneses can release the ball. Inestrosa. He goes over to Jose Nunez. Miranda. Ortiz given an impossible ball. Inestrosa over to Nunez. Trying to spin the ball through. Good run by Moreno. Marin. Now with no Estrada on the pitch, that frees up Marin a little bit more to go from left to right. Lugo opening himself up. Coming through his Gende Ruiz as well. Granados. Ruiz asking for the ball in the middle. Looking for Ortiz and cleared away by Guillermo Sierra. Fuller. Run. Lugo dropping back. It hits off the post. Here comes a rebound. Marin! Oh my goodness. What a well-constructed play with a bit of dose of luck. But that final touch, again, betraying as Marin had his sights set, then he opened his hips and it went straight out. But again, it's the construction of that play, the association down that wing, but also the presence of mind of the other players not involved directly. And here's Ortiz again. And it goes right to Vladimir Vargas. But what I want you to start looking at a little bit more in the construction of that play for Herediano wasn't just the players that knocked the ball around. It were the other players that were able to move and create the spaces for them because the defenders had to recognize their presence. Now here comes Deportivo Universitario, who have been looking to attack, but when they get to that final third, there's 2, maybe 3 players going on there, going into that area. And again, Moreno down. He's looking to get back up. Does, and that play ends up being wasted. Moreno keeps it in play. Forward pass there by Gaynor Brown. Gerardo Lugo. Marin. Lugo cuts inside. Here's another chance. Has a man wide open. Oh! Ortiz got a lot of tunnel vision on that one. Chronic tunnel vision. He had Marin wide open on his right. Here's Fuller joining the attack. Fuller! Right into the hands of Vladimir Vargas. Ortiz had Jimmy Marin wide open on his right. Of course, he's a natural forward in that area. You tend to forget. Brown. He has all the tools. Dynamo. Foul being called there. A couple of appearances. Gaynor Brown. Look at him as a potential player for the future. Gaynor Brown is not a young man anymore. He's not a young player per se, he's 26. But he is a player that can be looked at, and of course you see right there, Manny J. Miranda saying, "On my whistle, sir." It's the 33-year-old Mexican, former Mexican international. Querétaro played with Cruz Azul. Serve it in, looking for Gender Grease. There's a header right there on target and missing. But Captain Pablo Salazar, not by much. See right there, 3 players wide open. Make that 4 if you want to start including Salazar as well. And again, this is a very tenuous lead for Herediano. Opportunities. Miranda, nice move as he finds Marin. Marin can't set up. Marin has to turn, but by the time he does, the ball gets lost and starts to counterattack on the opposite side. Moreno waiting in the middle. Inestrosa. That's square enough as it deflects off of Esteban Granados, and you start to see Oscar Opegui pacing around. Ramirez. Set that ball through, but a lot of indecision in little tiny details. Those are little tiny details that you start looking at when it comes to this Deportivo Universitario side. Gender Grease. Fuller now. 3-on-3. Lugo all alone. Ortiz, Lugo, back to Ortiz. Oh, how they botched that one. Oh, what a chance right there in the making. But neither Lugo nor Ortiz could really be able to cash in on it. Here's Inestrosa. Omar, as he goes down, it'll be a foul and a good opportunity for Deportivo Universitario with their tall players, lanky players, players that can jump, players that can move in the area. As a set piece usually ends up being the equalizer right there. Ortiz. And a yellow card. So Velarde comes off for Deportivo Universitario, and now the other Inestrosa, Isidoro, who's been part of the Panamanian national team pool. David Loaiza also coming on. Josian Nunez comes off. So double substitution for Upegui. 68th minute of play and still Herediano with a slight 1-0 advantage. Shot that gets deflected. Too innocent there on that free kick. Lugo, even more innocent, flailing on that ball. Loaiza. Here's Fuller as he charges and finds the ball in space. Has Ortiz, has Marin, has another opportunity. Kaner Brown coming also, but Fuller wants to go what's behind door number 4, and he misses that ball wide. Ortiz watches that ball just sail. Inestrosa, Isidoro. Charging and chugging down that right side. No Velarde, let's see how they're able to handle it now. As Velarde throughout this second half really will become a protagonist. Montenegro now over to Loaiza. Loaiza bullying through Miranda. Loaiza again has to dribble through and nice service. Montenegro saying, hey, where are my players? Nice pass into space yet again, but not enough real estate to really be able to develop that, despite the frustration that's going on there. Fuller. Just dashing down that left side. Fuller. Fula able to get the throw in. Oliver Fula. One of 3 Colombians, both Colombians on the pitch right now for boys, all 3 Colombians, as a yellow card being given to Esteban Granados. That, of course, in the 70th minute of play. So first yellow card of the match for Deportivo Universitario. So Sierra, Fula, and Loaiza. 2 central defenders and the forward. The header, the chance, the shot off the post, amazingly. Oh, what a beautiful play, how that was all set up. And somehow, some way, as a yellow card being issued to Samir Ramirez. Herediano playing with fire right now. As direct play really being the answer for this Deportivo Universitario side. Just left. Leonel Moreira planted, nothing he could do. The post becoming his best friend yet again. Samir Ramirez at 71 ends up being the 4th player booked by Eric Yair Miranda. And despite the, at least how fans feel, oh, nice play here by Jimmy Marin, setting it in. Marin with a second chance, looking to go far post. Marin looking for a 3rd time, will it be the charm? He's not going to be able to get it. Here's Loaiza, Colombian going out wide. Deportivo Universitario starting to feel a bit more confident. It goes to Moreno, but it's a big man in the middle, Kaynor Brown. Again, extremely confident with his feet, sometimes a little too confident. Those are the mistakes that he often gets criticized over. Jender Ruiz. Lugo. Granados lets that ball go through too casually. Again, Herediano making mistakes that can cost them. Brown battling, pulling through, but cannot keep possession. Loaiza drops it back. Goes to Moreira. Still, despite all that, Herediano controlling the pace of the game. But again, always a threat. Always a threat with Marin on the other end. Marin, the header that just misses wide. Jendrik Ruiz flying in and missing by inches. Could have sealed the deal on that occasion. A couple of years ago, he was the leading scorer for Sport Herediano in the Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Right there, just by a ball's length, missing what could have been the 2-0 right there. Sierra. Marin will be one of those players in the future as well for Costa Rican football. One of those players alongside Gerson Torres. Gerson Torres was playing as recently as a couple of years ago with America's Club America in Mexico with their youth. reserve team, I should be more specific. Marin looking, commits the foul. Samir Ramirez complaining about the knock that he suffered right there as we enter the final 15 minutes of this match. Frustration setting in. As Becky knows that his team is very capable of scoring right now. They've shown those flashes. Herediano doing enough to get the result that they're getting right now. Granados. Jendrik Ruiz. Ruiz will be with them as well. In addition to the Gold Cup. Qualifying. Later on, of course, Costa Rica will also be looking at Nations Cup play next year. Chance, it goes through. Just missing again is Salazar, who joins the attack. Very questionable defense on set pieces, on corner kicks for Deportivo Universitario. Lugo, Mari, almost making it happen here. Montenegro. Chance there is Isidoro Inestrosa. Lugo now being able to secure that ball. So again, it goes to Loaiza. Forward, playing on the wing right now. Inestrosa, nice ball into space, but he's offside. The timing just off. Isidoro Inestrosa, is he? Teams, of course, barring any change in the score, these two teams will face off next week in the next round. Next week in Panama. Ball just dribbles out of bounds. Lugo, just outside the 18, Jendrik Ruiz! Jendrik Ruiz makes it 2-0 for Club Sport Herediano. What a play by Ruiz. What a way to construct it. More importantly, what a way to finish this effort. Two subs coming in, making a difference. But Ruiz has enough time to collect the ball and strike it. But all the work, at least all the dirty work, was done by Gerardo Lugo. Puts that ball passive death. Jendrik Ruiz is not very forgiving when he has the ball at his feet, but he has time. Look where he has to go and recover. My big question there is not the shot, is not the how he's able to do it, but when Omar Inestrosa is charging him, he's afraid to go after the ball. He doesn't want to commit the foul, But then he lets the worst of two evils occur, because the worst thing that could have happened there is, okay, he commits the foul outside and you leave it to chance. But here, Ruiz able to recover the ball, collect the ball, turn, and shoot the ball. That's the biggest problem I had with Inestrosa's defending. As far as Jendrik Ruiz, he was impeccable in every single aspect of that play. 2-0, convincing, controlling, and really close to the next round. And as soon as I say that, that ball goes over the head of Leonard Moreira. It'll be a point kick coming up for Deportivo Universitario. Now, that being said, still time, 10 minutes left. Deportivo Universitario with a goal here really would change the narrative of the game. Fula going first post. A bit of a deflected strike there by Isidoro Inestrosa. Third and final. It's going to be Randall Asofeifa coming on for Herediano. So Guillermo Ortiz coming off for Herediano. Lumbering forward, and now you bring in a forward and you take out, actually you take out a forward, you bring in a holding midfielder. So now you're looking to regulate the match, as Gerardo Lugo will play up top. Switches. Lugo has been a big contributor to this Herediano side. Marin has been as well. Lugo again to Marin. Fuller also has. You see a very entertaining, a good ball-moving team in Herediano. As it goes out wide, it goes to Cruz, looking to serve it in for Jendrik Ruiz. On the counter on the opposite side, but look at how Fuller drops back. Kainer Brown. Inestrosa, who moved over to the right side and lost a little bit more protagonism, although he was able to get the ball on a couple of occasions, but not with the effectiveness that Velarde did in the first half. Samir, tackle there, and Loaiza going down to the ground. Gerardo Lugo had to drop back to defend. How quickly this match can turn around if a goal comes in, especially if it's a goal for Deportivo Universitario. Top of the six. Again, that's just been the story from set pieces, except for one. End of the first half for boys from La Chorrera. Now, this match, return leg that is this time, will be played over at the Estadio Agustín Sánchez at La Chorrera. Universitario, of course, becoming a very impressive team as far as the project that they're looking to build. Samir Ramirez. Miranda pressuring. Loaiza's able to get past him with great ease. Loaiza looking to get past Granados. Loaiza looking to send the ball to Moreno. Who's tried and worked in rather isolated fashion in this match. It's very little success. Back to Deportivo Universitario. Right now, now they're in the midst of a project that they're building in their own stadium. That really starts to set them apart from many clubs in Panama. Ball punched away by Vladimir Vargas. Radala Sofeifa recovering that ball. Great effort by Fuller. Marin. Squirrely winger. Sofeifa out wide to Fuller again. For the run in the middle by Cruz. Lugo. Nice pass by Lugo. Jendrik Rees rifles it in. Execution style. That is all, folks. 3-0 and a brace by Jendrik Rees. What a pass by Gerardo Lugo. For those of you that are always talking speed and pace making the difference, sometimes pause and thought end up creating every difference in the world. Out wide. No. Nowhere close. Of course, calls for offside, but a clear onside. Sometimes pause and thought end up beating pace. And in this case, more than ever, 3-0 for Club Sport Herediano, as they will continue their unbeaten streak against Central American rivals at the Eladio Rosabal Cordero. And a big statement that they're making, looking for more. Rees goes out wide to Cruz. Cruz dropping it back. Lugo, Rees couldn't get back. Span of 7 minutes, Jendrik Rees also getting very close to the leading goal scorers in this 2017 Concacaf League. Many were questioning Herediano. Of course, Jendrik Rees now joint top of the table as one of the leading goal scorers in this tournament as the ball sailed over. Jendrik Rees will probably be one of the men of the match despite coming in. Gerardo Lugo also deserves some mention. Jimmy Marin also deserves some mention. Esteban Granados also deserves some mention. Keisher Fuller also deserves some mention. Players that really had an impressive performance for Jaime de la Pava, who continues to solidify his team. A team that continues to start to understand his theory. As a yellow card will be given, this time to Isidoro Inestrosa. This time it'll be at 88. Looking to seal the deal. I mean, the match is pretty much academic at this point. Rees at 78 and 85. Gerardo Lugo assisting him on both goals. Arrieta also, who came off early in the second half. Sofeifa now with the ball. 3 minutes top stoppage time. Of course, the winner of this tie starts to look elsewhere. As Árabe Unido, the header by Rees looking for the Hattie. Not gonna get it there. this time, ends up facing the winner of FAS Árabe Unido. Árabe Unido currently with the slight advantage as they defeated FAS 1-0. Most important part about that is Aso Feifa serving it to Lugo and Ruiz, but now Alan Cruz. Another pass by Ruiz, but that's behind him. The most important part about that goal by, actually that victory by Árabe Unido was not, of course, the super incredible FIFA 2019. No, not the guy with the 2 minutes of stoppage time, just in case you thought the guy with the cape was coming on. Of course, it wasn't that super FIFA 2019 type goal that was scored by Faber Gil. Got another ball, and Cruz, Alan Cruz, not able to get to it, a little bit too far away. Not only was it a big goal that Faber Gil, was able to score near the death for Árabe Unido over at the Cuscatlán. The away goal, of course, there's still a chance for an away goal here, and that changes the context of the return match a little bit. Of course, it helps Árabe Unido be poised to at least attempt a return trip to the semifinals. Last year, 2 Panamanian teams reached the semifinals, both being eliminated by Santos de Guapiles and, of course, eventual winners Olimpia from Honduras. Herediano, here's Lugo. Nice pass out wide, but not enough weight on it to get it to the appropriate destination. And Herediano, barring anything happening here last minute, will have a hefty lead going into Panama. Now, if you start looking at their schedule coming up, of course, they will have a couple of interesting matches. Of course, the next 5 matches will be quite interesting to look at. More importantly, if you start looking at Herediano, they will have their eyes set on the return leg. It's Cartaginés. Of course, the return leg, Pérez Celedón, Carmelita, and if you start looking into the month of September, it'll be a showdown on September 8th against Alajuelense in Alajuela. But a big step forward for Club Sport Herediano at home. They continue to dominate in Heredia against the rest of Central America, much to the pleasure of Colombian coach Jaime de la Pava. So your final score from the Eladio Rosabal Cordero, it's Club Sport Herediano 3, Club Deportivo Universitario 0. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon.
Go!